podcast, man. We're excited to be with y'all again for this exciting new topic on the podcast. It's been a great week, been a great couple of weeks. Some great football going on, some great things going in life. Hey, tomorrow we got the voting, so everybody get out and vote. Just another day to be in y'all presence, and we're excited about it.
Yeah, what it is, we here again, man. Finna have introduce something new here, man. A new a group we started. I think we started called the Committee of Resilient Men, and got the fellas back. Lee, Al, what up?
What's up,
What's
What's
up,
up,
everybody?
Yeah, we get more into depth on what we talking about with the committee, but we gonna you know how we always start off, man. We gotta have a little fun till we dive into that thick stuff. You know what I mean?
So
So here
y'all
we
know
go.
how we kick it off. We're gonna kick it off with Kev G's top five.
You feel me?
What you be
You feel me?
doing, bro?
Hold up. Here we go, man. Today's top five, man. Man. Since we talking about the committee and introducing the committee, we're gonna do the top five inspirational leaders, or our top five inspirational leaders. I do have honorable mention on mine, so I'm gonna run mine first. If y'all don't mind, you feel me? My honorable mentions, man, is two people, and you can easily separate them apart, but I like putting them together, man. Mine gonna be my honorable mention is Tupac and Afeni Shakur. Because of their movements and their what they stood for. Tupac and his music, his messages, and Afeni, what she stood for with the Black Panthers, and how she moved and carried herself. Of course, like we all have certain struggles like they both had, but their messages were clear. And it was for us as people, especially as Black people, to advance in the best way we know how. So I remember it's gonna be Afeni and Tupac. My number five, we're gonna start with five. Here we go. Number 44, right? Number 44, President Barack Obama. He gonna be my fifth inspirational leader, man. Because be honest, man, I know a lot of older people say this, but we can also say this, man. Could we ever have believed we would have saw a Black person be president in our lifetime? And not only just that though, but the way he carries himself as a person, right? Let's just take out the political aspect of everything, right? The Democratic Republican side. That's why he carries himself as people, and how he communicates and how he represents himself, his family, and his people, right? I think Barack Obama has done a great job at it, personally. Some things he did, and a lot of things he did I like, but there's some things that I didn't like in his presidency. But many things I did. But if you take that away, who he is as a person, what he stands for, and what he means, I think is important to the Black community and what we stand for. Number four for me is Mr. Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest athletes of all time. When he had to stand for justice about going to Vietnam, he did that. With no remorse. They took his title away, but he kept fighting. Right, he kept fighting for the right, and we all know what Vietnam was like. Nobody won that war. And it was harsh conditions. He stood on his belief and his feelings about that war and about the draft and things like that. And I think he will always be remembered for not just how great he was as a boxer, but what he was to the political environment for us as African Americans. Then my number three is gonna be interesting, because it's not a Black person. It's Mahatma Gandhi, right? Mahatma Gandhi was one of the first people. Well, not one of the first. Let me not say one of the first people, but when we talk about civil rights and peaceful protesting and things like that, Mahatma Gandhi was a big spear of doing that, right? He was huge on doing that, right? And actually my next guy took his steps based off Mahatma Gandhi. But Mahatma Gandhi stood for civil rights. He believed in non-violent protests. He was killed, right? I just think the whole nonviolent protest for me, and I know a lot of people believe in like the Black Panther movement and some other things, but I feel like nonviolent protesting is the best way to go. And I feel like he was the one that like really spearheaded that and really made that movement strong at that time. And then my number two, like I said, they go hand, and I'm gonna say hand in hand, but they do go hand in hand. Is Dr. Martin Luther King. So he had the nonviolent protests, and he was the face of the civil rights movement for us. And though we know that now many things have changed for us, let me not say that we ain't where we want to be, but we dang sure closer than we was, right? And I think he was the reason why we are where we are now as people. And he gave up his life for it, right? And now me saying he gave up his life for it is gonna tie to my number one, man. And I will never be able to put anybody over Jesus Christ, right? I will never be able to put anybody over Christ. So that's my top five. I'm gonna go with uh former President Barack Obama, Muhammad Ali, Mahatma Gandhi, Dr. Martin Luther King, and Christ Jesus.
That's actually a very, very good list, and I think we got at least one on here similar. But my honorable mentions take care of two of yours. And when I look at this, not only by inspirational, but I use my more impactful was my mindset. Um, and one thing I will say this is the history teacher in me. I'm gonna ask my brother to do more research on Muhammad Gandhi. There's a reason why he's not on my list. There's a reason why he's not on my list at all, and wouldn't be on any list for me.
So,
There
don't
there's
talk
some his
about it. Talk about
there
it. Educate
there there
me.
there's some issues with race with Gandhi, and
Come on,
I
with the Indian people.
no with the black people. Like there's some there's some history around some of the methodology and teachings of Donnie, like people need to be worried about. So I get to that another time. But my two, and when I talk about impactful, I'm gonna go with one you had on two of them you had on your list. Your number two and your and I think it's your number four. And I'm gonna go with because and this is not saying that nobody's list is wrong or right, but even though one of my honorable mentions is Barack Obama, and it's because of not the impact of who he was as a person, the impact of his presidency and what he symbolizes for us as a people. And that's not let me change that. Not us as a country, right? The fact that we have gotten over one hurdle that our country deals with race. We still got a million more to jump over. But the fact that this man was able to come about and be our first black president, you have to put him on this list. You have to give him kudos. I did have to put Martin Luther King as for me, because this is a personal thing for me, for Martin Luther King to be I don't mention as well. But I'm kind of stuck because he needs to be high up there because he has this lasting impact on race relations and civil relations in our country, right? He could be easily be number one, right? And I have my own methodology on why he's not number one for me. But I think on most lists he would be number one, right? No, but he has to. For me, he has to be on the list. So I kind of toiled on where to place him on this list. But you can't deny those two individuals' impact on our society and on us as the people. My number five, and this is the historical nerd coming out of me. My number five is Franklin Delano Roosevelt. During one of the most darkest times of our country history, the Great Depression, going into a World War II, he did some dynamic things that still resonate throughout our world now, throughout our country now. A lot of his policies and his New Deal policies, they are the reasons why a lot of us who grew up in poverty or grew up with struggles can can receive benefits from the government. There's no denying he pulled us out of the worst depression in our country's history, and the way he did it was so impactful, and to the way that his way of bringing us out actually increase the arts in our country, the music, the painting, the drawing, the sculpting. He even increased those things as while increasing job production and redefining the bank system. Things. So he has to be on my list, and that's just the history nerd coming out of me. My number four, and I thought Kevin may have this on here. I'll say King Solomon. You talking about a king the history of our world who is known through many cultures, many groups, many religions. There's many religions that celebrate the wisdom of Solomon, right? And there's no denying we can look at his back record and all of the stuff he did and having all them concubines and wives. But when we talk about when we say wisdom, the first name that comes to everybody's mind is King Solomon. no matter what race, religion. King Solomon is typically that first person. So I'm gonna go number 4, my King Solomon. And the next 2 are kind of like personal for me because I just like their teachings. And my number 3 is Malcolm X. I think Malcolm X is his he is one of my top favorite people in history because his movement instilled power, right? It wasn't all about sitting back and accepting where we are, right? It was about progressing. It was, and I hope people understand that when Brother Malcolm said by any means necessary, he was saying if it came to that, right? He wasn't saying let's go out, arm ourselves, and do damage. He was saying that we need to value who we are and protect ourselves and get our own civic um, our civic promises, but do it. But we shouldn't be threatened when we're going through that process. We should have the ability to protect ourselves. So I think a lot of Brother Malcolm's teachings were misunderstood, and I think that's why um, he doesn't get the recognition he does. That's why he only gets a paragraph in our history books, and that's why I always celebrate May 19th. That's also my son's birthday as Brother Malcolm Day. And so he's probably one of my top people in history. My number 2 is W.B. Du Bois. There's no denying what him and the Niagara Declaration of Principles did for us as a people, and got us to stop thinking about that we only could be labormen, that we could excel in law and being doctors and being all this other stuff. So he is other than my number 1, he is my favorite person in history. W. Du Bois, when you look at his teachings. And my number 1 is like Kevin, Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I think the reason why, I know the reason why Jesus is number 1 on my list is because Jesus tells us how to be just, if you take the religion out of it, he taught us how to just be good people, right? Just how to be good people. And there's no denying his teachings were about just you being the best version of you. Then you can throw on spiritual stuff for me because I am, like Kevin said, unapologetically Christian. But even if you take out the religious piece, it's the perfect example of being just a great human being. And so those are my top 5.
I do want to say, I was reading a little bit on what Gandhi said. Yeah, I got to move too. He got to be out of my list. Tupac and Afeni got to go. They got to get moved up to
Yeah,
5.
yeah.
He
That's what I
can't be in
say.
my
You
list.
just, you
That's
just
what he
got it.
said, bro. Yeah, he can't. He
Yeah.
can't be in my
So
list.
I just think I think he has some great teaching that a lot of our great thinkers used after him. But
Yeah.
he had a lot of biases that I'd rather not
Hey,
even have him on
before
my list.
before Alan Lee go, man, he said, I was reading right here. He said black people are troublesome and dirty like dogs or something like that. He said white people, Africa should be the predominant races. Yeah,
But
he
but you all but you also got to
yeah,
understand that
wow.
Gandhi came it very very race, but also came from a caste system where they
India,
had the
yeah.
caste system in India, but the caste system also had to do with the darkness of the skin
Complexion.
of Indian people too.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't surprise me, right? But I just
Yeah.
he can't be on the list. Can't be on the list for me.
It can't
Just
be on my list. You got to get X.
Wow.
Who next? Who up?
Man, y'all set the stage with them lists, man. Both them lists is top notch.
No, right?
I don't even want to say mine.
Hey, it's your list, man. Remember, it's your list.
Right.
Your list.
It is. We're gonna go with number 5. Number 5, I took Louis Farrakhan. I'll put him on my list because his mindset is just for the black people in general is do for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Know yourself and do for self. You know what I'm saying? Like no handouts. You know, we talk about growing your own food, getting your land. He just talk about being independent as a black man and steering yourself away from the handouts that are there. You know, handouts don't really do nothing but just cripple you from succeeding in my standpoint. So
They make you
I would
comfortable.
take make you comfortable. I like the way you speak. Number 4, Keith kind of took one of my guys, W.E.B., but I had him kind of coupled with Frederick Douglass. They used to always try to pin them two against each other sometimes. with some of the ideas they had. One of them was more of a industrial education, and then one of them was more of a higher education, going to college, getting a degree. They used to always try to pin them two against each other, like one is better than the other. In my idea, I think that whatever education the person chooses, in that time period, we're talking about in that time period, whether it's using your hands or using your brain, is still. I mean, it didn't matter. It was just I didn't think it mattered. I went to a vocational high school, and they used to try to pin those two arguments against each other. You had the shop teachers on the lower level that didn't really talk to the teachers up top that went to the 4-year colleges. The shop teachers were the ones with the hands dirty, the khakis on. They was it was just a bunch of division amongst the two. And both. I mean, I just didn't understand the fight, but I liked his message he had with one of his my favorite speeches that he had was about the 4th of July. Like, what to the 4th? What does it mean to us? And pretty much like, man, we celebrating the holiday of freedom, but we still oppressed. We still like, what is it? What is it? They really don't have nothing to do for us. Like that was one of my favorite speeches of him. Number, let me see, 3. I'm gonna go with let me see, what's my number 3? Oh, my number 3 was Martin Luther King. Him and Malcolm X, again, they right next to each other. Both of them had different avenues to how they were trying to get their message across, but it was still for the betterment of us all. It doesn't matter what approach we took; it still was what we needed, what all of us needed. We was all going through the same stuff. They try to pin religion. They try to use religion to kind of pin black people against each other. I know the guy's a Muslim brother. One of them was a Christian brother, but we all looked at it as the same in the eyes of the people that don't like us. Doesn't matter the religion. So
Agreed.
Separation, man. They used to always try to separate us through this crap to just cause confusion amongst us to keep the unity away. Number 2, I did the 2 and 3 and 2 together. And number 1, I want to piggyback off you guys, but we got to go with Jesus. Who's going to put anybody over him? I don't know a person in their right mind that's going to put a person over. I don't care what you believe in. You got that's the biggest impactful. I don't care what religion you call. Everybody takes pieces of that particular time period and include it in their own stuff. Jesus, you're not going to read another religion if you don't see Jesus' name in it. But you're not going to read Christianity and read about other. Christianity don't talk about other our leaders, but if you go to any other religion, they can always have Jesus' name mentioned in their books. That means something. That means this guy was real, and he was impactful. No matter how you want to put it, his message was impactful, and he number 1 off top. That was my 5, brothers.
You know what's crazy about what you said though, bro, is that we talk about Booker T and W. Du Bois, they beef, and then Malcolm and Martin, they didn't even have beef. Them brothers hung out together. They just had civil discourse between each other. They just agreed and they debated with each other about their differences and how to approach the same situation. But neither one of them was wrong, and neither one was wrong in their thought processes. But society tried to make us think that there's these two different this beef when actually they've just showing us two different avenues. Just like Malcolm Martin, just like Booker T. Washington and W. Du Bois, just showing us two different avenues. That's all. That's it.
I truly believe that the combination of two is who we're supposed to be as people. Like, we're supposed to have that positive, like, we don't always want to go and attack, but there's come a time where we need to stand up on our own 2 feet and do what we got to do, right? So I think the combination of two is like who we're actually called to be as people. But I'll let Lee go ahead and do his list.
All right, for sure. All right, so we're gonna start at 5. You know what? Pac. I'll say Pac. Pac is definitely up there. Pac definitely musically, you're gonna get your club tunes, but at the same time, you're gonna get your commentary. He's gonna tell you what's going on, and he was actually he was out there mentioning everything, the struggles, everything going on. He had when he was locked up, he was talking about the young kid from out south, Yummy Sandiford, the whole situation with him that happened in the hundreds. Like, Pac was definitely out there. He's definitely impactful. Like if he was still here today, I could definitely see him on the front lines, like being out here in the mix of everything. Number four, definitely use Barack. Barack, we can say, we can definitely say in our life, we've seen a positive black man, had a whole family system, didn't have to be no baby mama drama, no scandals, no major scandals like that. Kids grew up. We saw them grow up. Everybody's good. You ain't really hear nothing about them. And he was definitely amongst the people as well. And he came from an Ivy League background. We can definitely say that too. We can brag on that. Number three, I'll definitely put Malcolm up there. Malcolm, everybody touched on it. You gotta have your positive side, but you gotta have your strength at the same time. Definitely gotta be on your own 10 toes, hold it down, and sometimes we gotta get a little harsh with people to get the point across. Not that, of course, we got the stereotypical angry black person, black man, black woman, but at the same time, it's more so standing up for yourself. And he was definitely on that, and that's definitely big on that. Number two, Martin. So the yin and the yang of that. Martin, that's the positive side. Like you guys just mentioned, like they had these conversations. It's not like they was beefing or they never saw each other. They was definitely in the same rooms. And of course, without one, there ain't the other. It's what's the name of the show? It's TuVues. Boom, right there.
Yes, sir.
That's just real talk. Ain't ain't no hiding behind it. That's just how it is. And in our group chats, there's always multiple viewpoints that we have, discussions. It goes to the left at times, but at the same time, it's we got them. And of course, number one, hey, Mama made me, but the good Lord saved me. You know,
Amen. Amen, brother.
with
Amen,
that,
brother.
without the man above, we ain't here to fellowship and talk about what we here to talk about today.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Kev, you gotta know one of my, we die hard Pac fans, man. But I think my favorite Pac song, and I think El get as much credit as do is Changes, man. It's just the lyrics. It ain't even a flow. You hear what he talking about and changing the way he breaking it
Bro,
down, man.
it's
People,
deep,
man,
bro.
I
It's
should use
still
it
a
as a
part of
teaching
today.
lesson to my class, man. That is still
Nah,
applied today.
that's one of the top songs, man. But ain't none as deep as Brenda's Got a Baby, bro.
Yeah.
Brenda Got a Baby. That story. That's like
But
that
you,
shook
but
some
there,
people, bro. It's like
the only reason why I put Changes over and Got a Baby is because Brenda's Got a Baby, that culture message was a hit. Like it smacked in the culture. But Changes, man,
the
that is a
cha-
societal hit.
yeah.
That was
That's a
a societal hit.
that's a that's lyrical education. That song is just lyrical education.
Yeah.
Like he educating people in that song, bro. That's nothing about Pac, man. Pac was people. They saw him as a thug, bro. They saw the tattoo thug. Like, so, man, that boy knew everything, bro. He was
Mm-hmm.
so smart, bro. He was so smart. But they just saw the
Yeah.
thug tattoo. They saw the bandanas and all that, bro. Pac was a brilliant dude, man. He was brilliant. And like I'm with
I don't
Yeah.
Lee,
mean to put him.
if he is here right now, yeah, he'd be out there. He'd be in them streets, bro.
I ain't putting him on this level because he's way above it. But it's like Ti tries to kind of like emulate like what Pac like. That's another like Ti. He may use big words. You might not think he's trying to sound intelligent. Ti ain't dumb, man, and that's what I get from Pac. Like people look at Pac because his music, like, oh, he just is thug rapper, gangster rapper. You don't know what, man. That dude was super intelligent. I wouldn't be surprised if he took a genius test, took a test, IQ test, and was considered a genius. I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't either.
Like
I wouldn't either.
he don't get credit. He'll have a gangster song, and then just one song that everybody should hear that should touch your heart about where we are in society.
Yeah.
And
And
guess
man,
what?
he's a lyricist, man.
Guess what the government did? made us focus on the ones that were bad, right? Instead of those ones
Yep.
that, meant something, right? That he was calling them out, and they really didn't want us to hear that, because that would have caused a revolution. Like, government knew what they was doing.
He said instead of war on poverty, they got a war on drugs so the police can bother me.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. We got a war on drugs when we had kids like they couldn't eat, man. Our focus is on the wrong place. Go back and
Wrong
listen to the
thing, bro.
song, man. The song deep, man.
He was
So
young
yeah,
too, man. He was ahead of his times
young.
with all them
Yeah.
songs. He was young.
So,
Yes, sir.
but that's why he was on my list with his mama, because that came from his mama, man.
Yeah.
Afina Shakur, she was out there, bro. She
She's a
had a little
panther.
drug issue, but she was out there. So, and he
Mhm.
got a lot of that from his mom and his I think his stepfather, right? His stepfather was a
Stepdad,
Panther
yeah.
too, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, he got a lot of knowledge from them. And he just kept going. But yeah, but anyway, man, that's our top 5, man. This was probably the deepest one we've done. With this as far as the subject, right? So that's our top 5 inspirational people of all time. Again, Gandhi, you gotta bounce off my list, bro. I thought I did a little quick research on you. You gotta
Oh.
go.
And y'all, man, I ain't got no dad joke today, man. But y'all know what, man? Dogs can't operate MRI machines, but cats can. It's still funny to this day.
That
Hey,
was all right.
I got
That's probably the best
I
one I heard.
got a dad. I got one real quick, and then we get to our side. I got one real quick. Dad joke. I just thought of it. Michigan ain't ranked. Hey, let's go to the next subject.
All right.
Oh man, whoa! Wait a minute, man. Let me light my candle or something around this.
I had to
Hey,
do
man,
that, man.
I thought you really had a joke.
No comment.
All right,
Oh
man.
my
All
God.
right, here we go,
What's
man.
that?
All right, so let's hop into this real quick. This topic real quick. So a long time ago, man. When we united as men, as brothers, man, back on the campus of Eureka College, right? We became brothers or whatever. So today we're gonna push out this thing we starting called the Committee of Resilient Men. It was us plus another brother. One day that brother gonna come back to us eventually, man, and join us again. Like open arms, man. We want to come back, but we as the 5 of us, we had this committee. We're gonna start this committee of being able to be resilient men. And start moving in a way of character that shows generations, past, present, and future, of what it means to be a man, what it means to be a stand-up guy, a guy of character, standard, and resilience, man. And that's what this committee is. We don't mind other people joining, man. We're gonna try to build this thing and grow this thing out as big as we can. But I have some rules, and I want all y'all to have y'all particular rules when it comes to this committee thing. And I have some simple rules for this committee, right? And how all y'all got simple rules for what we stand for. So I got 4 things that, like, for me are unnegotiables, right? Unnegotiable. So my first one is you can't put your same thing, right? Anyway, you can't put your hand. If you're a man, and you put your hands on women, that ain't gonna work here. It's not gonna work here. Now I know some men probably have done stuff in the past, right? But I'm gonna get to that too. It's all about growth, right? But if you put your hand on women, first of all, you're a coward. Second of all, that ain't gonna work in this committee. That ain't gonna work. You can't be a resilient man by putting your hand on women. Also, you got to be active in your kid's life. Ain't no deadbeats in this group, bro. If you ain't active in your kid's life, you can't be a part of this thing, man. Like that ain't resilience. That ain't overcoming, right? That ain't I know having a kid gets tough, right? It gets tough, man. Having that burden, man. But man, and you ain't got to be with your baby mama. I don't like using baby mama, but you got to even be with her, man. But that has nothing to do with you being active in your kid life. Nothing. Beefing with your baby mama has nothing to do with being active in your kid life. Period. If she wants you to be in his life, go to court. Go to court. Get your rights, right? And then also, you can't be complacent, right? The resilience is all about growth, right? fight through difficulties, and continue to grow. You want to be a part of this group. You can't be complacent. You got to always want to build yourself up, be better and better. And then we talk about large steps or micro steps, right? But you got to continually want to move up. And then, like, you got to know your worth. Like, you got to know your worth, man. Like, you are somebody. You're worth something. And you got to believe that in your heart, man. And that's going to help with that resilience and that growth and that character and that development, right? If you just truly know that you are worth, you have worth, right? So those are my 4 non-negotiables for this group, right? Everything else is subjective to me. These 4, to me, you got to fall in line with those. Any of y'all
Yeah,
got
okay.
any
So
non-negotiables?
I just mine is simple because everything falls under the same umbrella. Man, in this community, we do everything in love, man. Right? We gonna debate and we gonna disagree. We man, and people saw our chats. We disagree a lot. We bump heads a lot, but we do everything in love, man. I'm a love I believe in the biblical said loving my brother, man. And at the end of the day, no matter what we go through, no matter what would be, we can totally disagree and be on opposite sides of the aisle. But at the end of the day, when my brothers call me and they need something, I got it. Right? Everything we do in this committee is gonna be done in love, right? Whether we like we debate, whether we agree, whether we uh, come up with initiatives, it's gonna be done in a way where we all where we all respect one another's opinion and approach. Um, and also, man, I believe in doing things decently in order, right? You gotta be willing to move correctly. Right. And Kevin hit on a few of the points where you got to be able to move correctly. But we looking for men, right? We're looking for men who willing to stand and say this what it means to be resilient. This what it means to have accountability. This what it means to hold my brother accountable, right? That's my third. My third one's gonna be we hold each other accountable. And this gonna be a group. If I feel like you wrong, you got to be willing to accept when your brother call you to the carpet. That's what we do. We gonna call each other to the carpet. We're gonna help each other grow. You can't be resilient if you're not willing to grow. So that's why we do everything in love. We hold each other accountable, and that's just what we do.
Yes, sir.
Man, big so far. Once again, y'all doing what it do. I'm gonna piggyback on him. That was my first one. Accountability, man. We got to be accountable. No matter what, man. You just got to be accountable for own yours, own whatever you got, own it, and just right. You know what I mean, and talk about it and get through it. You know what I'm saying? No judgment, man. We're gonna try not to be judgmental, man. People come here, man, to talk and to be vulnerable as men or to share different things with each other. And we're not gonna judge. No judgment. It's a judgment free zone. Um, we got we're gonna get the best advice as though we the same way we want to receive it. We're not gonna judge. Being transparent, man. Being transparent. So don't be judged, but also be honest. Let's be honest with each other. Let's not get into. I think being a resilient man and being in this committee is being honest about once again which each one of us know. Strengths, weaknesses, or things that we would do differently. You know what I'm saying? But we just got to be honest. Once again, that ties in with accountability. A lot of people may not know my story, and I'm not going to get into it. I'm going to be briefly and say, out of the group, out of all of us went to college together. I was the one that ended up going to prison. I was the one that made a mistake. I was the one that got in trouble. But through that, I had to be resilient to get through that. I had to be resilient to get through that, and not only getting through that time period, it built on top of the character that I already had deep inside that was hidden. That brought out the true person and who I really was, because the erratic behavior, the ignorant outbursts, all that wasn't really me. That wasn't really me. I don't know what I was scared of or pretending to want to be. Just growing up in the hood, wanted to, have a image. I don't know what it was, but I came from a good household. There's no way in the world that I should have been in the position that I was in based off what I was taught from a little kid on up until I decided to steer away from the teachings of my household. My household was great when it comes to teaching you right from wrong. So I had to be accountable with myself. I had to look myself in the mirror through that times and be accountable and say, Al, you know what it is. You know what the situation is. You know what you can and cannot do. And what 2015 I came home. It's 2024. I don't even got a speeding ticket. So like I know, we back in school, about to finish my like everything that I was supposed to already be doing. The resilience took me through. It just built me back up. So we'll get into a little more of that later. But when we come to resilient men, man, we want to be accountable. We want to sharpen each other. Iron sharpens iron. Like you brothers. You brothers been sharpening me up. I learned so much from Kev, Keith, Lee. Like we sharpen each other up, man. When it comes to businesses, when it comes to ideas, when it comes to just like we're not tolerating bogusness. We're not tolerating, like you say, deadbeats. We're not tolerating no woman beaters. We're not tolerating no mediocre behavior. We're not tolerating this excessive behavior that's going to be eventually be detrimental to your growth. We're not tolerating that. We're not tolerating that. We're tolerating evolving. We're going to evolve. We're going to be stand up men. So
yes, sir.
That's me there.
All right. And then to add on what everybody mentioned, word is bond. Word got to be your bond. Got to stand on your word. That's something we all been
100.
on since the day we met. Like that's one of the main things we focus on. Your word got to be your sanctity. I live and die behind that, and I at times I do take offense when that gets brought into questions. Like I know what I said, I know what I meant behind it, but we definitely want to be transparent. Transparency, that's definitely big, and everyone has their own story. We gonna be respectful, and I got my own story myself. Like I can go on for days with that. That's a whole nother segment, but you know, and we definitely want to be the best versions of ourselves, and we want to be able to present that to the outside world, to the kids, to other men that want to be in this position and may not know how to get there. Like just so somebody can say, all right, I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but if they got questions that we should be able to answer it if we can. Like we may not have the best answer, but just to be a listening ear if need be. Just and
I'm a go yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much adding on to what y'all mentioned, because y'all mentioned the key points.
I just want to say I'm glad Al shared a little bit of his story and the fact that he went to prison, and that may be different than the other three of us on the screen. Excuse my French, but we'd be a damn lie if neither one of us said we've never been to prison in our hearts and in our mind. Right? We all have a story. So for us to even consider judging a brother because of their plight, that ain't in us, right? That ain't in us, because we all have plights. We all had rocky roads to get to where we are now. We all had been confined, right? We've all been, but just in different ways. So people who come into this group will never judge you on your plight. And those of you who still in your plight, we want to help you get to where you supposed to be. And it ain't an easy road, but you got 4 men here that's willing to take that journey with you. Right? We're gonna support, like Al said, we're gonna uplift our brother. This is what we do. So I'm glad he shared that, because you'll be a lie if you ain't never been in prison up here and up here, because we all have at some point. And so ain't no judgment here. Ain't no judgment in this room.
We all we got.
And it's this key thing is that talk about our stories, right? We all have that's the biggest thing we have to understand. We all have different stories, and all of our stories matter. I have an identical twin brother in this group, and I guarantee you, we'll have some parts of our story that touch, but I guarantee you they branch off and go two different ways. All of our
Yeah.
stories are different, even me and Keith's. That's why this is called
Mhm.
TuVues, because if you ain't never listened to some of our stuff, then Keith be having two different views on stuff. We ain't that because we twins don't mean we think the same thing. And it's like all of us as brothers. Our views might not be the same, but our purpose is right. Or that like that center point, that resilient center point is the same, but it branches off, right? So we should be able to learn from each other's branch in order to help ourselves grow. And that's the whole purpose of this and the key to this. But I think the one thing we really got to define is resilience, right? So resilience is defined as the capacity to withstand or to recover quickly from difficulties. But this is the one I kind of like better, right? The ability of a substance or object to spring back into shape, elasticity, right?
Mm.
Bend
I
but
like
don't
that one
break.
too.
Bend but don't break attitude, right? Stretch, but we might get stretched in life, but we got to get to that point where we snap back. We got to go. We got to focus. We got a purpose. We got to get back to this. Our whole life we've been stretched. It's time to snatch back and focus on our purpose. The reason why we're staying. So that's resilience, man. That's what we're built on. That's what we're gonna build this thing going. We're gonna keep growing it. But I want to ask y'all something real quick. Um, like I know we talked about our do's and don'ts or our non-negotiables or whatever, but like what this committee in its totality, right? When it gets to full fruition, right? Exactly what we want it to be. What does that look like to y'all? What does that vision look like? And if y'all want me to go first, I can go first on that.
Mhm.
My vision of this committee is to be able for young men and definitely young men, but young men and women to have a source. And beyond that, older men and women to have a source too, but the generations below us to have a source to look back up at and say, that's what I need to be like.
Mm-hmm.
That's that should be my focus and my direction of being like not like us, but like what we're trying to instill in the committee. They don't have to be like us particularly because we're all different, but the goal of being resilient and going for what you believe in, that's what I want to focus on. All young men and women. I need to be doing this. I won't let this distract me. I won't let that distract me. So being a beacon for those people is my hope and my purpose for this group.
Mhm.
Man, that's deep. That's deep.
Yeah.
I'll go next. Being able to give people a source of power, man. You know, sometimes people just need to latch on to a power to just, ignite. It's sometimes it be in them. Some people just sometimes don't have the resources or the even motivation to keep going. I feel like with all of us, I would want to see like we give we all got experiences. So and they say experiences is the best teacher. So to be able to give somebody that's going through something that we went through similar and to share our experiences of how we was able to navigate through that or ways you can navigate to maybe not even go through some of the stuff we went through when it comes to resources and because resources and information is sometimes the key to a lot of that would probably stop a lot of the younger kids from deterring in the wrong direction. And I feel like if they got older men like us that's willing to have a open door policy that they can come in and we can actually help them. I feel like that'll be big. We can change the narrative on how people are viewing black men in general. Anyway, man, they already view us as people that don't reach back. We don't help each other. We not unify. We just take care of ourselves. We want to change that, man. We here for everybody that want to be here. Anybody that need help. Anybody that needs some resources. Anybody that needs to talk. We them type of men you can call at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, man. You're going through something for you finna make a decision that may be detrimental, and maybe something that may tear your life up for a long time. Pick up the phone and call, man. We want to be that source. We want to be them helpers, them guys, man. We here to change. We're here to change a lot of things. So that's what I see this group doing, making a big change.
Yes, sir.
And so we a lot of the things we're mentioning, we're talking about like kind of like creating that pathway and those pathways for people to take the right directions and to be able to make decisions in their lives that's going to best benefit them, their future, their families, what have you. But I want to look at it a different way. I think that's 50% of. I think that 50% I've got to do with something we used to always say in college. We used to always say, "Hold me up,"
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
I think the other 50% is the people you're creating a place of, hey, I just need y'all support right now. I'm going through this. I'm not asking for no direct. I just need y'all to love on me. If that means crying with me, if that means laughing with me, whatever it takes for me to, I just need y'all to hold me up. I'm going through this. I just need some brothers to hold me up. Right. And sometimes we're gonna have the moment. A lot of times you're gonna be looking for guidance, like how can I do this? How can I do how to go about this? But there's gonna be times where you're gonna be like, look, I don't need no guidance. I just need some brother to talk to that just can hold me up. I'm falling. I just need somebody to hold me up. Tell me I got this. Tell me you good. I'm gonna support you, bro. What you need, right? That's what this committee. That's what we don't like. We gonna look out for you, and I think this committee has an experience where they came together and for a brother in need and said, "Hey, we got you." That sometimes it's just simple as that, like having a place where we can just say, "Hold me up. I need y'all support. I don't need no guidance right now. I just need y'all support.
Mm-hmm.
Just be my wall to lean on while I get my feet under me." Right? And I hope we can be that for a lot of men.
Mm-hmm.
definitely major. What I'm about to say, who knows? Maybe one of these days we could do like mess around and do like a book or something like that, speaking engagements, just be that outreach for the
Definitely.
people that do need it. Like who knows? Like maybe our words and being present in the flesh, like just so they can put a face to the voice that's putting out these messages that may be in the grander scope of things in due time. Of course, this ain't gonna happen overnight, but in the grand scheme of things, maybe down the road that could be a possibility.
Yeah.
That's definitely a goal. That's definitely something when we initially start talking about this a long time ago. It was
Yeah,
like doing speaking engagements and going out there and really hitting the pavement, right? So that's really a goal and purpose. But let's let me flip. Let me not flip it, but let me throw something out here. So the question is, why will we even need a committee like this? Right? Why do we even need a committee like this? So we know what's going on in the news. Diddy.
mm-hmm.
Diddy was somebody a lot of people looked up to. Y'all know my theme song, "Bad Boys for Life." This is just my theme song. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, this always gonna be my theme song if you go to jail or not. But like he was somebody, he was this mogul that everybody looked up to. We have all these moguls and these big people that that let's just talk about our community, the Black African American community. We typically tie our who we look up to based on music and sports, right? So we have these music people and these sports people, or let's say actors and actresses, right? And then they fall, and like Diddy falling hard right now. His defense attorney just bounced on him, right? So they must know more than like they a lot going on in that Diddy case. But when we see our people that we looked up to, or we I won't say I looked up to Diddy, but he was somebody that like you see him his entrepreneurial skills where he was just making music, doing, and he just grew that business and grew that. He just grew so huge. He went to making. Had his own vodka. He became a billionaire. Like he grew. We actually got to see him grow, and that was like something A lot of people aspire, like, man, I want to grow like Diddy, like I want to grow like Jay, I want to do that type of stuff, right? And we see them fall. I think the purpose, a big purpose of this group of why it's needed is because those famous people, that's a 1%. The rest of us, we ain't living that high life. We ain't got those resources. We're normal individuals. Us four, we're normal individuals. Well, would it be nice to get up to that high money and make all the money? It'd be great. But we can probably tell you from experience what it means to go where have your lights cut off and not have this and not have that, and go from like Al going to jail and coming through that. Like, we can tell you direct experiences that directly connect with our community. But we see these people who we did look up to fall. How do we counteract that, right? Those people that people look up to and wanting to become what people should look up to or aspire to be, right? How do we do that without taking away from this one? Because that's great. Growing up and becoming a billionaire is awesome. But then he failed, right? And now, like, how do we combat that whole web?
I think we got to remember why, like you said, why it needs to be combated, right? Because when you look at that, with the whole situation, like, since we're on the topic Diddy, the question is who builds up Diddy, right? Who built up Diddy, right? We
Who
can
told them
easily throw
no?
our stones. No, but even now, even after he failed, we can throw our stone. The media can throw their stones, but who is there to support? Like, if that man, does he have a platform to where if he wants to grow from what he did, that he's given that, or we're gonna continue to throw stones at him, right? It's so, because we've all hit rock bottom. All four of us have hit rock bottom at some point in our lives, right? And we needed people special in our lives to help us rebuild. So that's my question: who rebuilds Diddy? And then also remembering that how do we separate the two? Is remembering that what we're doing here is not only are we giving opportunities to rebuild people who who've fallen and who needed that support, but we're also fortifying the next generation, right? We got to remember that we're for that. I'm not saying necessarily saying build, because there's so many different components to build next generation, but we're fortifying it, right? We're giving tools, and that's how we separate the two, right? You have like this is the possibilities, right? So Diddy and that success, that's the possibility. That's billionaire, right? But the truth is somewhere in between and lower. And so, like Kevin said, how are we speaking to this? Right? How are we speaking to that? And I think that's what the committee does. It speaks from a level of humility, and it speaks from a level of understanding. It speaks to a level of go through a level a time of acceptance. And so that's what we got. I think that's how we bridge that, right? So it's easy for us to say we want to be like Mike, we want to be like Jay-Z, right? But the truth of the matter is those are outliers, right? The truth of the matter is, how do we be and this is key. Instead of trying to be how do we reach those pinnacle points, how do we become the best version? That's what we got to teach. How do we become the best versions of
Better than
us?
me.
Yeah.
Right? I can live in poverty and still work to be the best version of me. Right? And I think that's what the committee is going to aim to do, is make sure we develop people that start looking within, developing the best version of themselves, and not looking at the Diddy, but at the same time supporting those who fall, and getting to the point to where they live the best version of themselves.
Man, it's deep feedback. I would say, my opinion, the fall part, the fall. I'm gonna kind of mention, stay on that. The fall. So each one of us had number one as our inspirational leaders. Was Jesus Christ. So he was number one on all our lists. And I'm not trying to push religion on anybody outside the group, what that's going to come in. But I will say that forgiveness is a part of every just who we supposed to be as people in life. We're supposed to forgive people because each one of us falls short. We all, I mean, we're gonna all, like you say, we're gonna all fall, and it's not our job to judge. And yeah, we can be critical and be mad, like, man, I looked up to this guy, he did this, he did that, but at the end of the day, he has the opportunity to be forgiven and go to the same place that every one of us trying to get to. So if we just got to be, you can be critical, but you can still be realistic and understand that you have to leave room for error and room for you got to have some grace and forgiveness because that's just the bottom line. That's just it.
And can I, before Lee jump in real quick, let me just piggyback on Lee. And so, like, people gotta understand this whole thing about forgiveness, man. Like, forgiveness ain't for the other person, man. It's for you. Like, man, the best feeling ever when somebody did something wrong to me, and I just say, I forgive them. You know how much of a weight that is off your shoulder. If you, like, I forgive you for doing that. I know you still ain't gonna be you're gonna be bogus or whatever, but the weight's off me. When you got a bad person that's treating you wrong, when you forgive them, what you really do is take that weight off you and you sit it on them. Here, you can hold that. I ain't carrying this no more. This holding me back from being resilient and progressing. I don't need you hold on to that. What you did to me, you hold on to that. I forgive you. I'm finna go about my business. So that's another concept that we're gonna drill, that forgiveness is for you, man. It's for you. It's not for the other person. It's for you.
Al dropped another nugget, right? I'm sorry, Lee, but Al dropped another nugget. So he talked about forgiveness, but he also talked about grace, right? If you think you ain't been a benefit of grace, you are lying to yourself. We all have benefited from grace. Not only God's grace, which is the greatest grace we've been benefited from, but from the grace of others. Something simple as your boss giving you grace when you missed that deadline. Like, we've all benefited for grace, but we struggle with getting grace.
Yeah.
Like, we benefit from grace daily, but we struggle with giving grace, right? And that's nothing. That forgiveness and grace is all. I think it's gonna be key throughout the entire committee. But my fault, Lee. I'll let you go for it.
I know, no, y'all good. Everybody was hitting key valid points. Stuff. As far as forgiveness is big, and as G touched on it, it's like it's not for them. It's for us getting that weight off. And sometimes just forgiving in that moment, even though you may not get that grace back, that's definitely is a big weight off your shoulders. That's one less thing for you to worry about. And as the saying goes, let go and let God, man. Just it's not for me to decide. I'm not the judge at the end of the day.
Like, man, like, I can't be thinking about this all day. In order for me to move forward, I can't be thinking about what you did to me. Like, I can't be like, man, he was bogus. You did that, man. Well, that was all a few minutes of me thinking of you being bogus to me. It'd be a few minutes I could think about building my next business. I'm wasting my time on you when I could be using that same time to be going in my next direction. I ain't got time for that. I'm gonna keep it moving, man. I'm gonna keep it pushing. And I'm saying, like,
Can I tell my story real quick? Just a real sliver of my story,
go
because
ahead.
they got to do it that, because there's a point in time where I was going through like one of the most troublesome times in my lives in my 20s, beginning of my marriage, and I noticed that there was a hole somewhere in my heart and my feeling and emotion, and it was daddy issues, right? It was like, and the bet. So I decided. I said, you know what? I'm gonna write this letter to my dad, and I'm gonna put it in the mail. I said, Keith, once you put this letter in the mail, let it go. And it was my letter of forgiveness, like explaining how I feel and saying, I forgive you. I said, when you put this in the mail, let it go. I'm 25, 26. I've been dealing with this for 20 some years. And y'all, do y'all know the weight when I dropped that letter in the mail? Could nobody tell me nothing. That weight was like, as soon as I closed that mailbox, the blue little flip down thing, it was like, man, that forgiveness that Kevin says for you, man. When you talking about a weight, I felt like somebody just took a squat rack off my shoulders, and I'm just like, now I can move in what God has ordained me to move and be the husband and dad that God has called me to be. Right. And it wasn't until I said, I forgive you. That's the first time I realized how much forgiveness releases. Right. That's my first experience of the releasing of burden, the releasing of stress through forgiveness. I mean, I'm telling you, I've never felt that release before in my life until that day I said, you know what? Drop it in the mail and let it go. And let it
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all got this habit, and if y'all don't, man, I would you three brothers, I would oblige y'all to get this habit, man. I have a new habit that I've been doing, and Keith might not admit it, but he can tell something different about Kevin. Something a little bit
And a
different
girl,
about Kevin. But hey, but no, seriously, I forgive immediately. I forgive. Somebody do something to me, I forgive I'm not carrying that weight 1 second, bro. Keith
your
still
boy
Hey,
holding
ain't there
on.
yet.
Yeah,
yeah,
your boy. Hey, Keith still hold on to me not giving him a piece of Snicker, right?
Okay, we tell that story before we go.
No,
Now, since you
no, we
brought it
ain't.
up,
No, we ain't. We tell that story.
there
But
we
no,
is.
man, like, and I'm not saying like forgive it immediately is easy. It's not. But I've gotten to a habit over years where I like somebody do something to me, even at work, blah blah blah. Be mad, man, but okay, I forgive him. Like I forgive him me because I'm not carrying nobody else's weight, bro. The weight that I'm carrying right now is on everything about me. It's about nobody else. Nobody what they did to me. I'm not carrying my dad, none of that. All the weight I'm carrying is Kevin's weight. I forgive
right.
immediately. I'm not carrying nobody else's weight. And that is easier said than done. I was imploring
And
you
you're right.
brothers. I would implore you brothers to do it, right? Next time somebody do something, y'all just say, man, I forgive them. And watch what happens,
That's
bro.
hard.
Just watch. Just watch. It
It's
changes
hard.
you.
It's
My
hard to do.
Jesus.
It's hard because for me, I want to get to that point. I definitely do.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me because I often try to sit back and think like I wouldn't have done it to them types. Like it make you feel
Well,
like,
Yeah.
damn, bro, I wouldn't
Yeah.
have done it to you. So how you going? And then make me I
Yeah.
just think about it, think about it, think about it, think about it, and then it's just crazy sometimes that you just think about stuff that you really shouldn't be thinking about. But if I can do what you do, Kev, I can be like, you know what? No worries, man. I forgive you, and just smile away like this. That'd
Man.
be yeah.
Man. Man. But now somebody put their hands on you. You can back, and then forgive them, right? They got to get these hands first, though. They got to get these hands first, man. They got to get these boys first, though. But like, I don't hold weight, man. But that leads me to
Yeah.
um, like since we all like since Keith and Al really went back into their past a little bit. What in your past fuels you? What fuels you to want to be this resilient man? Like what I know Al told part of the story, like
Okay.
what about that though fuels you now? Like Keith, what
Uh,
about that fuels you now? You can go, Lee. You want to join the league? Go jump in, Lee.
oh yeah. Okay. This is a big one. All right. So in my story involves I was at a young age. I was diagnosed ADHD. So I've dealt with IEPs. I've been through the special ed system. Nobody. This is the first time I'm really admitting all that. And so
You know,
I've been through
hold
all
on,
that.
pause. Cause he ain't never admit like that. When he say this the first time he admitting that, Lee ain't said that to us.
Yeah. Yeah, my first time hearing it right now.
Literally
Right.
first
So
time.
yeah. So go
Exactly.
ahead. So we'll make that clear.
Yeah, that's a big part of my story, and a lot of my childhood, middle school, high school is like, I'm separated from a lot of people, like, and a lot I've hidden that from just about everybody, because it's that stigma, like, oh yeah, you riding the short bus, like you're away from everybody, but at the same time, I was still smart enough to where I was in regular classes, and a lot of the times, you told no, you can't really do this, you can't really do that. So what fueled me is, all right, I have to prove you wrong. Let me show you let me show you what I'm really about, and let me show you where my head really is at. It's a lot of proving people wrong. Like, all right, you telling me no, all right, watch me do this.
Mm,
And you saying I wasn't good enough. All right, look how far I've gotten since then. It's been, and at the end of the day, it's more so about proving it to myself that, yeah, I've been through all of this. I never did I finish college? No, but I've still gotten to such a high level in life, in the career that I'm in right now. Like,
accomplished.
most people will let something like what I go through hold them back. But me is more so, I have to prove to myself I'm better than what they tell me. I know what I can do, and my resilience is in my strength in, I'm gonna figure this out, and I'm gonna get there. If I like, do I still need help at times? Yeah, and that's something I I'm working on within myself, to ask for help, because usually I'm like, all right, I have to figure this out on my own because it's on me at the end of the day. I hold myself accountable, but there's times where I'm gonna need the help, and that's where a group like this, our chats, what we started years ago, even 20 years ago when I first met you guys, this is the beginning of that foundation and steps towards that. And if I can be a resource to somebody that's in a similar position, that's what this group is for.
Mm,
Glad you
man,
said. I'm glad you spoke up, Dirty man. I'm glad you said
I'm
that, man.
proud of you.
That made me feel good, man. That made me feel good, man.
man. Hey, God don't make mistakes. We met Lee. We was 19, 20, 18, 19, 20. And the information that you present to us right now let us know that God specifically designed us to be your friends. You know what I'm saying? He designed us to be your friends, bro, because we got your back through anything. We there for you. We've been there for you forever, for all our years that we've been knowing you. He specifically put you in our presence, bro. And I'm just saying that because of the story you just told me. Like we didn't know this when we first met you, but he gave you a group of friends that didn't care about none of that, and we still don't. We still gonna go to bat for you every day, all day. So love, my
This
Yeah,
brother.
this a
yeah,
brother. This a brotherhood.
Yeah,
This more than friendship. This a brotherhood, and
Yeah.
yeah,
we've been able to hold that down for 21 years.
yeah.
yeah.
And 720 getting it. You feel me?
I was to ask on my side, Kev. You know what it did for me? Is it gave me battle readiness, right? Because what it did was when I like kind of like Lee, like when like once we go through those things, it like said, okay, now I'm strapped with the weapons to take on any situation, any obstacle. Right. I feel by leading through by being able to forgive it and taking that weight off, I feel like it's like when a knight take off their chainmail, they can swing their sword a little better. You know what I mean? That's how I felt. And with me coming out of that and dealing with those situations, not only to make me a better husband, right? God blessed me with like y'all got to understand the story, right? And I honestly believe this is a miracle. We were not supposed to be able to have kids, right? Because of a biological block that not able to have kids. But I can pinpoint me forgiving and letting it go and beginning my growth in those areas to the day of when KJ was conceived. Right? Like God, once I was able to deal with that and understand the weight and the blockage that was on my life, God began to pour into me and pour blessings into me. Right. And so that's one reason why I stay battle ready and I can't forgive people who wronged me is because God has equipped me with now tools, but I had to get that weight off me first. God's like, you have all the weapons you have. I've blessed you with all the weapons possible to get through any obstacle that you go through. Once again, He will not put more on us than what we can bear, right? And so I had all the tools, but I was letting my chainmail hold me down. That's why I couldn't swing my sword.
Mm.
That's what forgiveness did for me. It allowed me to take the extra equipment off that I don't need to be able to fight the battles that was ahead of me. And so I by that level of forgiveness has made me battle ready. I stay battle ready. That's why I can clash with people and in the right way, knowing that I'm right and not care about the consequences. Right. If I know if I'm doing think about my job. If I know if I'm doing what's in the best interest of kids, you can fire me. Right. If you fire me for doing what's in the best interest of kids, I'm okay with that. Right. I've been just like Lee's been tried through the fire. He's been tried. Right. And as you can see, our brother has come out solid, pure as gold, even with all the obstacles he's been through. That's because Lee has been made battle ready. And I think all of us have been in situations where God has made us battle ready. And I'm not afraid to go into any situation now. I may cry through it, but I'm going to fight my way out. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It's just amazing to hear the stories because that's what forgiveness did to me. That forgiveness it, man, it was, I mean, just not, you ever rolled a squat rack off your back? It's like, ooh, that hurt. And
Mm.
it's like, man, but I feel like I can walk now. Right. It made me ready for any situation. And that's what forgiveness and grace does, man. It just bless you. So I'm proud of y'all brothers, man, because we all been through some stuff, learning lot about our brothers here, man. But man, y'all been battle tested and y'all battle ready. And I wouldn't want to go to war with nobody else.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, for me,
Absolutely.
I like I've told my story before. For those who don't really know it, like Keith, I don't know how much Keith really know, but Keith know a lot. But a lot of people know a lot. But if you knew me when I was younger, right? Um, I always walked around. I never smiled. To this day, I really don't smile. Right? You know that I don't smile a lot. Right? I don't smile, and it's still from a lot of stuff growing up. But what the reason I'm saying is, what I used to internalize stuff. I kept everything inside. I mean, I kept everything inside. That's why I never smiled, and I want to have the persona, and I'm just whatever. But I internalized everything. I never, like if something bothered me, I never really spoke about anything like that. And I also had a fear of failure. Right? Until this day, failure. I don't have any fear, but failure bothers me. I don't like failing that stuff. But when those things come to a head, right? Both those things come to a head, me bottling it up and then failure, that's when I exploded, right? And in that explosion, I became suicidal. I attempted suicide, right? Right. So that was my past that helped me. Now I was telling you a story earlier about how I forgive people immediately. This is why. Because I know that what happens with me with bottling things up internally, what the ultimate result is of it. I get suicidal. I get in my head. It messes with me. I hate failing. If I fail at school or if I fail at work or studying or whatever I'm doing, if I fail, I hate failing. Right. So now that's why that forgiveness thing where not only do I forgive people, I forgive myself. I don't carry unnecessary weight anymore, man. So my past of doing that helps me now to say, man, can you remember when your dumb butt, I almost said that word, when your dumb butt tried to take your life, bro, over storing up this bull crap, and then a merit fails, and then you get all crazy because you feel like till this day, like I don't want to feel right. So like when I get to those points, I have to release them. I can't hold. That's why I got to that point. And I hope y'all get to that point too, where I just release stuff immediately. I don't hold on to stuff because I know where it would take me. It's gonna take me to a whole nother level, right? So that's how my past helps me progress this resilient thing and this committee and growing and keep getting better. My past it was a lot, so I tweaked it and I'm moving forward, man.
Man, it's deep. Three good ones, man. Man.
Oh, you got one.
Yeah, I do, man. So you said getting through. So my situation was prison, of course, but I gotta tie that into my family. I'm gonna tie that into to history, and it's gonna tie in. So my dad's side of the family is Southern people, and they grew up with no education. My dad didn't have no education. But they always preached to me and my little sister, school. So I feel like when I went to prison, I had to forgive myself for this. I contributed to the weight that they had to release off them coming up. You know what I'm saying? I contributed to that. Like I'm gonna cry about not being able to vote, not being able to do this, not being able to do that, but I'm contributing to the weight that they was able to break the shackles from and pass the torch to me and say, here, go to school, get an education, go do this, go do that. So when I went through that situation, it brought me back to reality. Like, damn, I'm sitting in the visiting room looking at my daddy, a spitting image of me, somebody that didn't have the opportunity to do none of the stuff I got the opportunity to do, and I took it for granted. Like what are you doing? Like my parent went broke sending me and my little sister to school, and I'm taking this for. I'm talking about somebody that don't even have an education, and they had the money to send me to a private school. Like where? Like come on now, you got to do better than this. So I have to forgive myself. I wrestled with a long time with forgiving myself, man. I beat myself across the head plenty of times, bro. Like it's not that I let myself down. I let the struggles of my parents and what they had done to try to pave a better way for me. I let them down by taking advantage of an opportunity that they pulled out of a rabbit out of a hat. Like they did magic for me to do the stuff I've done. So I'm like, so it gave me the strength, man. It gave me the strength now to I ain't preaching no violence, all that gang activity, all that hood stuff, man. That stuff is for the birds. You hear me? That stuff is for the birds. If you're a little youngster and you out there and you influenced by people in the neighborhood that's pretty much throwing rocks at the penitentiary for you, that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. We're gonna come and get you away from that. We're gonna get you away from that mindset because that stuff is for the birds, man. It's for the birds. It's not gonna lead you nowhere, and it's not a badge of honor to say you got taken away from your family for X amount of years. Although it's an experience, and the experience, like I say, everybody had their own experiences. Even in the Bible scriptures, people had to go through things to get to where they had to get to. I mean, it's all about that you learn from that experience. But what keeps me on the path to doing right is just knowing that my ancestors, so my granny, the picture I showed you yesterday, my granny, people that went through that struggle, the stuff I read about in African American history. I'm talking about they lived it, and I got an opportunity to do the things that they fought for, and I'm not doing it. It's like I'm contributing to the like I'm being the oppressor. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm in the same boat as the people that we crying about that's doing wrong to us. If I'm doing wrong to us,
Yeah.
So, that's what drives me, man. I'm voting. I'll be there. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking advantage of all the things that we once and have been able to do.
It's like, man, think about this committee, man. Like, what if Lil Durk had a committee like this? Like, we're the dudes who surrounded him. Like, his situation ain't funny. It ain't cool. It ain't like, but it's like, we're the men that were behind him say, bro, nah. Like, where was his support? We need to be that type of support. We need to be that type of support. Ain't no yes men over here. Ain't no yes men over here.
You
That ain't
will
what
be
we
held
are.
accountable. Like Feezy said, man, you gonna get called to the carpet if you're on that.
And we might swing on you. Might swing
And
on
then
you.
hug you, right?
Hey,
And then hug you.
I will fight one of these dudes on this call right now if I see them doing some goofy.
Supposed
If I'm
to.
walking down the street and see one of them doing some goofy, I'm swinging. Man, what is you doing, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Now, won't you swing back? Because, no, I got that rope for the I'm going to pick you up and say, man, we got to do better, right? Well, no, man, like, I think that should be another foundation thing, man. Ain't no yes men over here, man. We real men. Ain't no real men. We call you out. We gonna love you. We gonna support you. And sometimes we might say yes, but not on no BS.
Yeah.
Kill that, right? So I don't want to keep you on here much longer, man. But anything else y'all want to say, man?
Oh yeah, real quick before we go, and this is I can do my my dad joke. I'm gonna tell this story, and I want y'all to chime in
Man,
to
we not telling this
tell me
story, bro.
to
The
tell
We not
sneaker
me.
telling
store?
this story.
Yeah, man, I'm telling the story, man.
We tell this story,
I want
bro.
people to chime in and tell me what y'all think, right? So we are freshman year of college. We at Blackburn College, right, man? I got a whole bunch of scholarships. So they wrote checks. So I got this money just for me, right? And so when you join the football team, you can order all this like swag and all that stuff. So we both ordered swag, right? All this money, right? And I got the funds, right? My little brother don't got the funds, right? And so I'm like, Kevin would never admit this, man. I always watch out for Kev, man. He won't ever admit that. But I was like, okay, my brother don't got that $100 some dollars. Let me go ahead and pay for it, right? I don't know, like $100 some dollars. That's a lot of money for us in college. $100 some dollars. You know what I'm saying? So I'll pay for it. Al and Lee, man, not more than 15 minutes later, bro. Not more than 15 minutes later, went to the bookstore. Kevin bought a Snicker, right? I said, Kev, can I get a piece? Why he snap on me, bro? Why he snap? Man, you always begging. Snap on me, bro. I just spent $100 and some dollars on bro 15 minutes ago. Snapped on me, bro, over a piece of Snicker, bro. A piece of
I got to say it was something deeper than that than you asking for
no,
that sleeper. It was just that.
no.
That's
He
crazy.
didn't want to share a piece of Snicker, bro.
Well, I don't know.
Oh
Come
man.
on, man. I had to tell the story. Y'all tell me what y'all think, man. Should I let it go? Or
Bro,
or
you've been holding on for this
Kim
story
G
for
wrong, man?
20 years, 20 plus
We was
years, bro.
18 when that happened. I can't let it go, bro. A piece of Snicker, man. A piece. A piece. After the
Hey,
whole
you act like I never looked out for you before.
no, you have though, but a piece of Snicker.
I ain't gonna let this go, bro.
Well, he
Hey,
didn't tie the two in together, man. He didn't tie the correlation between the Snicker and what you did for him. The Snicker was independent. That was an independent situation that wasn't tied into what you done for him with the.
it
So
was a
Okay,
Snicker,
he didn't want
G.
you to have none of his
It
candy, bro. That's
was a
it.
Snicker.
okay. You telling me your boys. If we out, and man, I'm like, man, I can't pay for this, man. Oh, $100, man, I got you. Boom, I got you, man. I got to take care of you. And then you go to McDonald's, man, like, hey, man, can I get a cheeseburger, 99-cent burger out you? And then his buddy snap on you after you.
Yeah. I would hate to think that will happen at today with the age today. You know what I'm saying? So I won't think
Hey,
that was.
he wanted.
You know.
He wanted to swing on me.
No, I did. I ain't want to
But
swing. He lying,
listen
bro.
though, Dr.
He
Davis,
lying.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna leave it alone. So Kevin just told us that back in the days he had an issue with he internalized a lot of stuff and he had a lot of anger
See,
issues.
that
So maybe
changed.
you can tie that into it as part of the
Hey,
reason. Like, have a little grace, man. He was a
Have a
you
now,
know
little
he,
now,
grace,
now he
man.
flipped it on me. Okay, so I need to let it
Have a
go.
little,
Okay,
yeah, let
I'll
it
have a little
go.
take
grace,
that from you,
bro.
brother. I will
Have a
take that.
little
Now let
grace.
it go.
I'll let it go. I'm gonna let
Oh,
it go
yeah.
because you see
We
how
gonna hear about it at Thanksgiving.
Al just broke it down. Al just broke it down, man. And then he took your story, what you was going through during that time, and then he took the grace and the forgiveness down. And I gotta, as a man, I gotta own that.
Let me tell y'all, every family get together, he brings up this story.
Listen,
And my mama egg it on. Keep remember that
yeah, that's what I'm
Snickers?
saying. Somebody egg it on, and then I gotta tell the story. That's what happened.
Well, yeah. But
Man, let it go.
on today,
Man.
forgiveness was had. So
yeah, I'm gonna take Al.
add that to the story.
Take Al up on that.
22 years later.
Broken that piece of.
All right, man. Hey, y'all. Hey, this committee. Hey, we finna go. We finna do this thing big, man. We looking. If you want to be a part of it, man, holla at us. We got a Facebook page. Holla at us, man, and the Committee of Resilient Men. But man, understand when we said at the beginning of this thing, man, we're specific about what this committee is gonna be. Like, there's certain things, man. If you can't maneuver in the way that we present it, then it ain't for you, man. But we want real strong, solid brothers that want to change men and change the world in general, right? But if you want to be a part of that, man, let us know, man. Because this thing gonna only grow. It's gonna grow. It's gonna be exactly what we wanted to be. We're gonna change people's lives. We're gonna be a source for a lot of people, and the more the merrier, man. So that's a committee. Anybody else want to close this out, man?
Just real quickly, y'all, this is gonna come out after the election. And just remember this, man. Regardless of what the outcome of the election is, that person is the president of our great country. No matter who wins it, that person is the president of our great country. So we going, and if you don't like it, we can vote again in 4 years. But when that's done, they're our president, and we got ways to hold people accountable if necessary. But we're gonna honor the election results, regardless of what happens.
We are.
I agree. Evolve or die.
We're gonna agree or be okay with them. There's gonna be a lot of people who ain't. But no, man, we love y'all, man. Hey, hit us up. Man, we're gonna keep pouring stuff on our Facebook page too, so we can get that growing and going. We're gonna, hey, Al, let's do let's start Instagram too. Instagram too.
Gotcha.
And we're gonna start like even gonna be posting out like just put out quotes in there, like stuff to uplift people all throughout there. We're just gonna expand it and blow it up, man. Eventually, we're gonna create a web page. We're gonna get this thing rocking, man. We'll get this thing rocking. We gonna, hey, know what? I was just thinking to myself, know where we can start doing our community engagement, man. Going to speak to like sports teams, bro. We all play ball.
Yeah.
We can go speak to sports teams like high school football teams, basketball teams. I mean, that's a start, right?
Yeah.
And just grow from there, right? But yeah, man, we love y'all. TuVues committee. Let me get up out of here. Get up out of here.